Okay, this is for the music and politics of aesthetics. The genre I chose was R&B because it's my favorite music genre, so I love talking about it. Um, some of the positive impacts, I specifically picked positive impacts that come up in the book because I liked what they chose. Positive impacts help people connect from different cultures by popularizing black music, which white teenagers loved in the 50s, right? It started to create a space where white teenagers could become um, they were able to connect with other people from other cultures, right? Which at the time was just not happening. That's page 165. I think all of these are actually going to be from page 165. It popularized black artists by the late 50s, heading into the 60s, which didn't happen often, right? It was few and far between that a black artist was well known or was well known that they were black, right? And then it started to make a difference with racial tensions at the time. And we see this throughout history, right? This is all from page 165, by the way. Um, that as people become more connected through music, right, you start to see people from other cultures make music that you enjoy, and you start to connect with that music, it eases tensions towards each other. Negatives. Um, these are ones that I just came up with, my own thought process. Cultural appropriation, right? Hearing other people sing about their culture and then taking on aspects of that culture internally or externally because you now think that you connect with that culture when in fact all you've done is learn about it. You're not actually part of that culture, right? And I mean, I think that sometimes we overblow cultural appropriation. We are all just people doing our best, right? But I think it is important to protect culture at some times, and it's okay to not participate in something because it's not yours, right? And with cultural appropriation comes cultural homogenization, which is as we learn more about other people's cultures and as globalization continues to go, we become one culture, which isn't an evil thing, but I think it's okay to have subculture, and we should have subculture, and we shouldn't lose things that are ours and inherently ours because of where we're from or what we believe to other people, right? And it's okay to have your own thing and understand that this person has their own thing, and I don't need to always be a part of that thing or take on the qualities of that thing. And then also, R&B, especially in the early 50s and 60s, had to push stereotypes that adhere to white culture, right? And had to make fun of itself a little bit at times until it started to break away and we started to popularize black figures. Okay, part two. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to close that. Okay, what sorts of patterns emerge from my list, and what are some of the positive and negatives related to similar themes or cultural, political issues? Throughout the list of band songs, it is typically people who are saying something against the norm, right? Either pushing an agenda, a lot of the times a young person agenda, an upcoming generation's agenda, or speaking out against something that they think is wrong that maybe isn't the norm, right? And a lot of the times it comes to fruition, and they were right about what they were singing about. So share some of the examples of how your own family influenced your music tastes and preferences. Consider also any warnings for taboo music genres. I had a really cool family when it came to music. My dad was a classically trained operatic tenor. Um, my mom was a huge rock and roll fan. They both grew up singing a lot of choral music, Christian music. Um, but my dad was the biggest R&B fan in the world and was since he was a child. And so we loved all music. There wasn't anything we didn't listen to. My older sisters were really into grunge, punk rock, pop punk, also metal. Like that was their stuff. Alt, they loved that stuff. My brother was R&B and hip hop, but new gen R&B and hip hop, right? Things that are post 1990. Super big into it. Um, I have two other sisters that are just older than me. They were huge into musical theater, into pop music, into electronic music, indie music. That was their whole thing. They both loved all the other genres too. But then me, the youngest, I just loved all music. I loved all the music. I got to listen to all this music, and I really have a place in my heart for all kinds of music. My favorite kind of music will always be R&B though. That's the stuff I grew up singing. Um, I started performing R&B when I was a kid, and so I just love R&B. What are your thoughts about music and its influence in society and pop culture? And how would you respond to people who claim particular genres of music are harmful or ought to be regulated to protect future generations? Growth comes from music, right? Music pushes agendas and important agendas and brings growth, right? We say things through music that I think people would be uncomfortable with us just saying, right? It is a form of art, and art is art inherently pushes agenda. It has something to say, whether you understand it or not. My wife is an artist, as you can. This is all her art on the wall here, and I consider myself an artist as well, right? I've been writing music since I was a child, and I think that as we continue to lose art, right, we continue to defund art programs, we continue to stop caring about them. Um, we're losing our ability to say something and let the meaning not have to be universal. And I like that. I like that about art. I like that about music and what it says to society, that I'm going to say what I want to say in this way, and what it means to you can be totally different, and that's the point, right? That it is not inherently mine, but once I make the art, it is all of ours, and from whatever perspective we want to see it from. Anyway.